Hello, my name is Julia, and I'm 28 years old. These past few months have been crazy, mostly because of my spoiled sister-in-law. But before I get into that, let me tell you a bit about myself. I grew up in an upper-middle-class family. I had some nice things, but I still had to work hard for what I wanted. I'm very close to my family, so I always try to help them out. When I was 23, my last grandfather passed away and left me a good amount of money. It wasn't enough to buy a house, but I could get a nice apartment close to my family, so I did. A few months later, I met my husband, Shane. We had mutual friends who introduced us, and we hit it off right away. We started dating soon after we met. Shane and I had a lot in common and got along well with each other's families, except for Shane's sister, Mabel. While the rest of Shane's family was nice to me, Mabel was always cold. I didn't know why, so I tried to be friendly and helpful, especially when Shane's parents asked me to give her advice on career and college stuff. But Mabel never warmed up to me. I later found out she was jealous because she thought I was stealing attention from her. Mabel always needed to be the center of attention and resented anyone who took it away. I decided I didn't want to be around that negativity, so I spent less time with Shane's family, which Shane supported. Shane and I got married after dating for 4 years. We moved into an apartment and focused on our careers, especially Shane, who was up for a big promotion. For the first few months after we got married, I didn't see much of him because he was working so hard. I didn't mind because we always made time for each other. About a year after we got married, Shane came home from work looking upset. After I asked him what was wrong, he told me he had some bad news. "Do you remember that huge promotion I've been working towards?" he asked. "Oh no, did you not get it?" I replied. "I did, but there's a downside. I'll have to move to Massachusetts." "Massachusetts? That's across the country," I exclaimed. "I know. I'm confused about what to do. I have until the end of the week to decide. I can't leave here. I have a house and I don't want to be far from our families," I said. "I know, and I wouldn't expect you to leave everything behind. But I worked so hard for this promotion," Shane replied. "I understand. We could use the extra money, especially since we're planning to have kids. You should take the job," I said. "But what about you?" Shane asked. "We're married. We can handle long distance for a while, and we can afford to visit each other often." I reassured him. "Are you sure? This is a big decision," Shane said. "I'm 100% sure. You shouldn't give up on your success because of me. We're strong enough to make long-distance work," I said. "Of course we are. It's just going to be hard to live extended periods of time without you. How often would we even see each other? You can't take that much time off work either." "Calm down, sweetie. I know this is a big change, but we can figure out the details later. For now, let's just celebrate your promotion. Dinner's on me. Let's go." I was devastated, but I knew that if Shane didn't pursue his career the way he wanted, he'd start resenting me. And if I left my comfort zone, I'd feel the same way. After talking about it for a few weeks, we decided it would be best for him to work there for a couple of years. We would visit each other every 3 weeks. It would be tough, but I believed we could make it work. Shane accepted the promotion and was set to fly out in 2 months. Once everything was finalized, like his stay and all that, we told our families. They were sad but supportive. We threw Shane a great farewell party because he would be busy packing up during his last month at home. One day, during his last month, Shane came home with something important to discuss. "Sweetie, how was work?" I asked. "It was good, but I need to talk to you about something." Shane replied. "Oh, what is it?" "Mabel called me today." "How is she? Is everything okay with her? It's been a while since we heard from her." She's doing okay but struggling to find a job. She asked if we could help her out. Of course. Did you ask her to send her resume to you? I can pass it on to a few people too. Yeah, I did, but she also asked for one more thing. What is it? She wanted to stay here for a few months. Wait, why? She wants a change of scenery. Apparently, my parents are bugging her too much, and she's fighting with them a lot. What do you think we should do? I mean, I love her, but these are your last months here before your big promotion. Don't want you to deal with anything you don't want to. And no offense, but Mabel can be difficult. I know, but she's family. It feels wrong to turn her down. Don't you think it's odd that she only asked after you told your family about the job? What do you mean? I mean, she doesn't like me, so it's odd that she asked knowing it will be just her and me here. You're right, it is odd. But I don't think she means any harm. If she does, we can just ask her to leave. That's true. So you're going to tell her she can stay? Yeah, but with a strict deadline to leave. All right, that's fine with me. Are you sure? You're the one who will be living with her? Just say no, and I'll tell her. It's okay. She's family, and I shouldn't let my issues get in the way. Thank you, darling. Hush, this is what family does for each other. To be honest, I wasn't thrilled about Mabel staying with me, but she was family, and I wanted to treat her as such. Shane made sure I was completely on board before telling her to move in. He made it clear she had to move out in 2 months. Mabel agreed and seemed thrilled to stay with us. At first, things went well. Mabel was rarely home, and we didn't set any time restrictions for her. Whenever we did see her, she was nice, and I was glad there was no tension. However, that changed quickly. Just 2 weeks after she moved in, Mabel came down for breakfast one morning, which was rare since she usually slept until noon. She seemed happy and greeted us warmly. Good morning. Good morning, Mabel. Did you sleep well? Oh, yeah. I'm so sorry I haven't been home much. I've been used to my freedom to do whatever, whenever a little too much. It's all right as long as you're safe and enjoying your time here. I replied, it's all good. Julia and I are going to get some groceries in a little while. Let us know if you need anything. I don't think I need anything specifically, but I do need to ask you guys something. Mabel said, yes, what is it? Well, before I ask you that, I need to tell you guys that I'm dating someone. Oh, that's wonderful. What's his name? How did you meet him? His name is Nathan, and I met him at a club. A club? Yeah, my friend had a birthday party at this club, and Nathan and I got to talking. He's a really cool guy. How old is he? He's 26. And before you say anything, I know you might think he's a little too old for me, but he seriously makes me happy. Like I said earlier, as long as you're being safe, we have nothing else to say. Yeah, so what is the question you wanted to ask us? Well, Nathan just lost his job, and he's struggling right now. Do you think I could ask him to stay here with me? Absolutely not, I said firmly. What? Why? Because, first of all, we barely know him. I don't want a stranger living under the same roof as me. It's dangerous. But he's not a stranger to me. He's my boyfriend. That doesn't make him any less of a stranger to us. And secondly, he's a grown man. He can figure out his housing by himself. He can't rely on a freshly graduated girl to provide for him. You have no say in this, Julia. Shane, come on, you understand me, right? You're okay with it, right? No, of course I'm not. Shane replied, I don't think it's okay for you to even ask us when we've graciously let you live here. I don't know what kind of hold Julia has on you, but she's changed you. You're not the amazing brother I had growing up. Mabel shouted as she stormed off. I felt really bad for saying no to Mabel after she told Shane he was not a good brother. Personally, if my siblings said that to me, I would have been crushed. But Shane assured me it wasn't the first time Mabel had said something rude just to get her way. I was upset that Mabel being so mean was so normal that Shane had become desensitized to it. Mabel kept her distance from us after that. She barely spoke to us unless it was absolutely necessary. I tried to talk to her and explain where I was coming from, but she refused to even look at me. Every time I was alone in the living room and she saw me there, she would dash into her room to avoid me. It took me some time, but I eventually made peace with Mabel being that way, especially because I had something more important to focus on: Shane leaving for another state for work. It was really hard for me to deal with Shane leaving. It was a difficult time for us, and it took a few weeks to actually get used to his absence. What made it even harder was Mabel's behavior. Without Shane there, I guess she thought she could treat me however she wanted. She would throw insults my way and make a mess everywhere. Whenever I asked her to clean up after herself, she would laugh at me. She constantly asked to let her boyfriend Nathan over, and when I turned her down, she'd get all huffy and tell me that Shane left me to get away from my prudish behavior. I was so close to kicking her out. In fact, Shane told me I was free to do it if I wanted to. But she was family, so I never did. That all changed when I came home one day to find my bags packed and left outside the apartment. I rang the doorbell and Mabel answered. "Oh, what's going on here? Why are my bags packed and left outside?" I asked. "You're moving out," she said matter-of-factly. "No, I'm not." "Yes, you are. Mabel, this is my house. I'm not moving out. You can't just pack my bags and ask me to leave." "Yes, I most definitely can." "How can you do something like that? My brother pays the rent for this place. He's working hard far away just so he can pay for this place. I don't see why you have to live here. That makes no sense. I don't care that your slow brain can't understand what I'm saying. I already packed your things up, so you don't have to worry about it. You're welcome for it. By the way, I have nothing to be grateful for. You can't kick me out of my own home. It's not your place. How do you think Shane is going to react when he finds out that you've kicked me out? He let you stay here out of obligation and love for you. I'm sure he'll understand that I did the right thing. Besides, I also need some space to spend time with my boyfriend." "Your boyfriend?" I asked, stunned. "Yeah, he's moving in. And before you suggest us living together, I don't want that. Unfortunately, there's not enough room for useless people in this house." "Useless? You're the one that doesn't have a job. Just because you have a job doesn't mean you can't be useless. You purposely sent my brother away to work so you could lounge in this huge apartment all by yourself. I will not let that happen any longer. You need to be put in your place. Why in the world would I want to spend time away from Shane? Are you insane? I haven't sent him anywhere. I only supported whatever decision he chose to make. Look, I don't care about all that. You need to leave and take your things with you. You're going to be sorry for this." "Oh, I feel so scared. You know what? Bring it on. Let me see what that pathetic threat of yours can actually do." Mabel slammed the door in my face after saying that. I was shocked at what had happened. Once the shock faded, I was shaking with rage. I tried ringing the doorbell again for a while, but Mabel never answered. I couldn't understand how she could turn on me when I had been so accommodating and tolerant of her behavior. But it did make sense why she would treat me that way, considering she thought that Shane paid rent for the place. It was still no excuse for her to treat me that way. My rage turned into panic and humiliation. I quietly picked my things off the floor and made my way to my car. I didn't know where to go, so I just drove around for a while. I checked the time in Massachusetts before calling Shane to let him know what was happening and what to do about it. "Hi, darling. How are you?" "Actually, not good." "What? Why? Is everything okay?" "It's not. Today, when I got back home from work, I was greeted with all my bags packed. What do you mean? Where was Mabel? Mabel was the one who packed my bags and asked me to move out. What? Why would she do that? She thinks that I'm useless, so you shouldn't have to spend money on rent just to pay for me. She's also moved her boyfriend in to live with her. Oh my God. I'm so sorry that she's behaving that way. There's no need for you to apologize. I'm just upset at her audacity. She did not even seem to care about what your reaction would be to her kicking me out. She thinks that you'll eventually realize that she was right for doing that. That's insane. I would never be okay with that. I'm so angry that I want to give her a piece of my mind right now. You and me both. Do you want to do something about it? I'm only asking because I want you to know that I'm going to support you no matter what you do. I don't really know what to do. Mabel clearly doesn't know that the apartment belongs to you. Maybe there's some legal action you could take. Oh yeah, of course. I do have an idea, but I don't exactly know how you feel about it. What do you mean? I could report her as a trespasser, and she would be escorted out by the police. It might even go on her record. That's a great idea. I was getting tired of her entitled behavior, and this is just the last straw. I will not have her kick you out of your own home. Are you sure? Absolutely. Besides, I really don't like her boyfriend. I'm sure it'll do him good to be taken out by the police. All right. I'll call the police right now and report Mabel. Yeah, just keep me updated about the whole thing. And if you need me to come there, just say the word. I'll let you know about it. But for now, I think I can handle everything. I knew that Shane would be on my side, but I just needed some more reassurance from him. When I got it, I immediately went down to the police station and filed a report against Mabel for trespassing. After proving my ownership of the apartment, the police officer asked me if I wanted to accompany them to my apartment, but I told them that I did not want to see Mabel at that point. They asked me to wait there or go someplace where I could wait a while till they got Mabel out of the house. I went over to my mom's house. My mom was upset to hear about what had happened and offered to help me too. It took a long while, but eventually, the police officers asked me to come back home and make sure that nothing was stolen. I practically raced back home, and when I got there, I looked everywhere to make sure I still had everything. Thankfully, everything was there. I thanked the police officers for their help, and they told me that they had a slight issue with getting Mabel out. They also told me to call them if I needed help with her again, because she had been put on their record now. I was confused about what had happened, but at least Mabel was finally out of my house. I was honestly too tired to ask what happened. The next morning, however, I got all my answers. Mabel called me to yell at me. You called the cops on us. I told you that you would be sorry for kicking me out. Why would the cops arrest us anyway? We were not trespassing in any way. This was a flat that Shane was paying for, right? No, he wasn't. I know you made up a huge bunch of lies just to get us arrested. Do you even know what's been happening? No, and frankly, I don't care. Have your bags packed, and I need you to come and pick them up by the end of the day. You got Nathan arrested. He's going to go to jail. Oh, how did that happen? We thought the cops were trying to force us out, so he put up a fight and ended up injuring the officer in the process. This is all your fault. You need to call the cops and tell them that you lied. But I didn't lie about a single thing. Don't test me, Julia. I've only been quiet about my dislike for you because I respect Shane. But if you don't call the cops and make things right, I'm going to tell my family about everything and you're going to be shunned by everyone. What exactly are you going to tell them? That I kicked you and your boyfriend out of the apartment that I own? What are you talking about? The apartment that you kicked me out of is mine. I bought it right after I graduated. No, you're lying. You're trying to keep the lie up. I just know it. I have no reason to lie. You can ask Shane yourself. If you want me to send you the documents of my purchase, I can do that too. Why would you not say anything to me about it? Why was this hidden? I don't see why my affairs are your issue. It's not my fault that you made assumptions for which you have to pay the price right now. Yes, it is. You need to do something about this. If you had told me that you own the apartment, I would not have anything on my record and Nathan wouldn't be in jail. I have nothing to do with this, Mabel. Shane and I were nice to you because you were family. You did nothing but make our lives hell. I could have kicked you out right after Shane left, but I didn't do that because I cared about you. This is no way to treat the person that's helping you out. Maybe you could learn something from this. Goodbye. When Mabel started spreading lies, I was furious. So every time I got a call from a concerned family member, I would send them the video recording of the day that Mabel threw me out of my own home. Thankfully, our entire conversation happened at the doorstep and my security doorbell caught the whole interaction. With that proof, everyone began to turn on Mabel, and that only made her angrier with me. She couldn't reach out to me, so she called Shane and tried to get into an argument with him about me. But Shane wasn't having any of it. He chewed her out real good and told her to stop bothering the both of us. Mabel also ended up getting kicked out of her parents' house because they didn't want to have anything to do with a lying, manipulative, and thieving person. Eventually, Mabel gave up her huge ego and came over to my place to beg me to take her back. She cried and begged me to help her out because she didn't have any other place to go to. Now, here's the thing. No matter how much I wanted to help her, I couldn't let go of the feeling of getting kicked out of my own home. So while I couldn't help her live with me, I did suggest some alternatives for her until she got up on her own feet. She did not like that. I wasn't helping her out, and she threw a fit. I had to eventually ask her to leave, and when she did not, I threatened to call the cops again. Thankfully, that got her out of the door almost immediately. I was paranoid about Mabel having a copy of the keys to my place, especially considering how she never returned it to me even when I asked her to. So I made sure to change the locks, which was once again a smart move because Mabel did try to break in. I snapped after that and called the police on her again. This time she got arrested for real. She was slapped with a hefty fine, and since it was her first offense, she got off with community service. I also managed to get a restraining order against her. It's been a good few months since all of this went down. It was really hard to get rid of the paranoia of her breaking in again, but eventually, things calmed down. Almost everyone in Shane's family has cut ties with Mabel, although they're willing to let her back in once she realizes how bad her actions were and she apologizes for it. I don't know what's been going on in her life now, and I'm happy to not know any of it. I'm just happy that she's no longer someone that I have to deal with. I'm happier now, and so is Shane. Never in my life did I think I'd have to deal with things like this, but it is comforting to know that I was able to handle this in the best way possible. Thanks for listening.